Allegations of racism have surfaced at the Johannesburg Metro Police Department. A group of traffic wardens in the Extended Public Works Program at the JMPD have accused management of sidelining them for permanent posts based on their race. Now, the allegations have surfaced over the weekend in a video that has gone viral. Let's have a look at this video now.
I am currently employed as a EPWP traffic warden with JMPD. I am from a group where we are a total of 74 traffic wardens. Out of the 74, 60 is Africans and then 14 of us is colored people. So recently, out of the 14 coloreds, some of us are from the Eldorado Park, Roodepoort, Westbury, and Ennerdale. So out of the 14 coloreds, not one has been called for a permanent post, but it has been advertised. And out of the 74, being the total number of our group, 60 has been called for the permanent post, which is African people. And then the 14 of us were left stranded. We came to Martindale just to inquire why we haven't been getting calls. And the Chief of Police, Angie, made sure that we understand that they were not looking for colored people. So in other words, as colored people, we do not qualify for the permanent posts.
All right, so you've gotten a brief context as to what exactly is going on here. Let's try and get a deeper understanding, but more importantly, what the JMPD management is saying to these claims. And let's speak now to Ziniko Mhlaba, our reporter covering this story. Ziniko, good morning to you. Is there racism within the JMPD? And if not, then how is management explaining what is being alleged?
Good morning to you, Xoli. Well, it seems as if it all boils down to employment equity policies. As far as JMPD is concerned, there is an audio that came out over the weekend. That was actually an audio of the head of the acting head of JMPD when she was meeting with those volunteers, trying to explain why they were not called back for the interview so that they can also stand a chance to get permanent employment within JMPD. So at the heart of that audio, at the heart of that explanation was the issue of employment equity. So that's the situation here. So we'll be trying then to delve into that policy itself, but also look at what point does it now be along the racial lines, and if it's still relevant. But before we get to that, we will have experts later on who will be giving us more insights on that as well. But let's get a background of this particular incident that forced this young lady with other young volunteers to come out and express themselves in such a public platform such as Twitter. It's a very, very important thing that has to be investigated, because the allegations are very, very serious. They are saying that there were sidelines on racial grounds, but is that the case indeed? And if it is the case, what is being done now? So we'll speak to the representative of those young people who's been involved. He has an idea, what is the background of this particular incident, but also how the engagements with the JMPD authorities have been going. I must say that from last night, we've been engaging with the JMPD to get their response, and they've been very, very open. They're still trying to get their ducks in a row, but they are very, very promising. Actually, they did send us an audio that give us context into why is it that those young people were not called back. So we need to clarify that. So throughout the day, we'll try to get that response from them. But from the engagements we've had offline, they are willing to talk. They are willing to explain their position. As I said earlier on, that they have been giving us an audio that was between the management of JMPD with the volunteers themselves, in which they're explaining to those volunteers why is it that they were not called back. But let's get a sense of how this ended up to where it is now. I'm joined now by Bishop Adams, who is the representative of those young people. Unfortunately, those young people could not speak to us because they need to be at work, because they're still under the employment of the JMPD, as you said in your intro, that they are part and parcel of the JMPD. Bishop Adams, if you can give us a background, how this unfolded, how these young people, how did you get involved in this particular incident, and what do you understand to be the issue here?
Thank you, Ziniko, and welcome to your viewers. This matter came to my knowledge Wednesday last week. So I would not necessarily say that I'm representing them officially. Okay. There is a background to this, as you correctly have said, is that from the 12th of June, I think, and I need to give you that background and the listeners and the viewers that background, we had a shutdown in the area of Westbury Claremont Nuclear Phaeton Precinct. That shutdown was based upon the Unemployment Equity Act that was signed into law by the President, Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa. And then we felt, as colored people, that the quotas and the numbers that was going to come out that is actually being bandied about in the 18 sectors would actually be very much detrimental to, or already detrimental and very major unemployment in our communities. So what happened on the 12th of June, as we said, we shut down the roads. There was a task team that actually was spearheading. A task team consists of Muslims and other stakeholders and other pastors that led this with me, where we actually went to different entities in the Phaeton precinct. We're talking about Helen Joseph Hospital, Rahima Musa Hospital, TDC, which is a social development entity, South Bakers, a private entity, JMPD also, we went to them, ShopRite Checkers, and the Premier's office. And then we went to other garages. We gave memorandums to them saying that we needed to relook at the employment equity and how many of our people in our constituencies are actually being employed, because we see that many of the people coming from other areas are getting employed and our people are not being employed. And it was exacerbated by the fact that the killings and the drugs that are taking place in Westbury and Claremont is actually very, very bad, even up to now. And that actually didn't balance out things for us. And that's the reason why we got involved with regards to fighting for colors to be employed in these entities and institutions. Because we were in the flow of that, I got the call on Wednesday. I needed to give that background to say we got the call to say, Bishop, can you come? There are 14 young people. They are called EPW traffic wardens. They are JMPD at the moment. Now, bearing in mind, there's a committee. I'm part of that committee that engaged. So that's the reason why I went, because we had 3 meetings already with JMPD to make sense and to try and get some clarity in terms of their employment policies and how we are able to also make sure that this community will be part of employment at Martindale at JMPD. And I must be honest, they've been open, like you've said, they've engaged with us, they have spoken to us, they have met with us as a task team. Then I went down to JMPD, I found the 14 children there, they briefed me, I don't know them. I only met them for the first time on Wednesday. And they said to me, Bishop, this is the challenge we are having. There were 74 of us that was doing, employed as trainees, I think, from 1 year, 1 month already. Their contract finishes in January, and there'll be 18 months. But of the 74, 60 African blacks was employed, and the 14 was not employed. And they felt that they were unjustly dealt with. And they felt that it was discrimination, they felt it was racially wrong, and they wanted to make sense of what is happening. And then I phoned the MMC, because we have a committee. Yeah. The MMC then said he was in a TMC meeting. He then graciously sent his strategic advisor to come and meet with us. We met with the strategic advisor, myself and the 14 children, EPW traffic wardens. We went to the boardroom. We explained to him what the challenge was that the children were having, the trainees were having. And then he said they will look into it. He took their names and their ID numbers to match them up with regards to their system and also their applications. Yeah. And he actually was willing to say that they are going to look at this very seriously. We need to come back on Friday, that was Wednesday, the Friday at 2 o'clock. We were to come back and they will give us feedback in terms of the administrative process that will be followed in order to get those children employed. So that's where we are right now. Okay.
So now, give us an update on where the case is right now, because I understand that there are some political parties that came out or on the very same issue, expressing their standpoints on this. So how dangerous is that now in terms of diluting the cause? But also, that will be my first question, if you can respond to that. And second to that, the level of understanding that has been at play here. Because at the end of the day, JMPD is saying that all that is based on employment equity. So how much of understanding do these young people understand?
Okay. To answer the first question, what had happened is some things transpired from Wednesday to Friday, and I think also acceptantly so. There was great anger because of the recordings that went viral. And a lot of people were angry. Thousands of, especially colored people, were very angry. But even black and white people were angry about the voice note that came out in a democratic South Africa, non-racial South Africa. And then what happened was that the Patriotic Alliance planned a protest at JMPD, which is their right. Everybody has the right to protest. Action SA was also there. Some of our own party, ACDP people were also present. UIM were also present. But I was actually going to believe that Friday I was going to lead the kids into the boardroom with the management of JMPD. But then when we arrived there, I was in legislature that day. When we arrived there, I got an SMS, a WhatsApp from the strategic advisor saying, we're not meeting. This is political, and we are not going to go there anymore.
Okay. Thank you very much for that update. But just in closing, I understand that process is being handled now by the MMMC's office, if I understand you correctly.
No. I must mention to the list, they are very open. The process is still ongoing. They are engaging, and they will make sure that is rectified.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for your time there. That's the latest, only from the representative or someone who's been tasked to communicate on behalf of the volunteers, clarifying the fact that that is still the situation, as he just said in his closing remarks, that the process is ongoing. There are engagements that are taking place between the volunteers and also the authorities, especially the office of the MMMC. We'll now then, in the next hour or so, explore that employment policy in its entirety with the experts who know better in terms of the background of the policy and how it can be contextualized when it comes to employing different races within the public sector.
All right, thank you very much, Ziniko Mhlaba, and we hopefully are going to also chase the JMPD management as to what exactly is going on here.